더 퍼스트 어학원입니다. iBT 독립형 샘플 답안 모음입니다. 토플 스피킹 독립형에서 출제되는 문제들은 몇 가지의 대표적인 주장을 가지고 요리조리 응용하여 쉽게 논리적인 답변이 가능한 문제들입니다. 특히 준비 시간은 단 15초이지만 45초 동안 답변을 해야 한다는 점 때문에 토플 스피킹을 처음 접하시는 분들은 영어로 말을 못해서가 아니라 말할 내용 자체를 준비 시간 안에 생각하지 못해 당황하는 경우가 많을 것입니다. 샘플 답안을 암기하고 말하는 연습을 하세요. 반복하고 또 반복하면 어떤 질문이나 오더라도 1초 만에 바로 대처 가능한 근거가 떠오르는 경험을 하실 수 있을 것입니다. 샘플 답변은 논리 구조가 쉬운 주장 플러스 예시의 구조로 작성되어 있으며 최소한의 암기로도 최대의 효과를 내는 것이 목적이기 때문에 같은 근거가 다른 질문에 반복적으로 사용됩니다. 그만큼 쉽게 응용이 가능한 이유들을 학습하여 돌발적인 질문에 대처할 수 있도록 하였으니 이 점을 유의해서 학습해주세요.
What is the historical event that you want to know more about? The historical event that I want to know more about is the invention of the Korean alphabet. First, it is unique and the most scientific letter around the world. King Sejong created it based on the shape of the mouth when people speak the Korean language. Therefore, it is very easy to learn, and it can even represent the sounds of other languages. For example, it is difficult to write the Korean language in English. However, the Korean alphabet can almost accurately represent English as it sounds. Second, I'm impressed by King Sejong's love for his people. The Chosun was a dynasty, which means that the king has the greatest power in the nation. So, he could have used his power for his interest like other kings. However, he always cared about his people, and its fruition was the creation of the Korean alphabet. Since the Korean language was very different from the Chinese language, it was difficult for Koreans to express their ideas through Chinese characters. However, the Korean alphabet was suitable to express the Korean language, and therefore many people became able to read and write. Describe a historical person who you think changed the world. Explain how he or she changed the world. I think it is King Sejong who dramatically changed Korea. First, he is the inventor of the Korean alphabet. Koreans had to use Chinese characters because there were no Korean characters. It was difficult for Koreans and many people were illiterate. However, the Korean alphabet was easy, and many people became able to read and write. People started taking proper education, and this led to the creation of beautiful Korean literature. Furthermore, he contributed to the scientific development of the Chosun. He adopted competent scientists regardless of their social grades, which were unthinkable in that era. They cooperated and created various inventions that made people's life more comfortable. One of their inventions, sundial, led Korean agriculture to be more successful and allowed farmers to get rid of starvation. What is the subject that you hate but have to learn? History is the subject that I had to learn, although I hate it. First, it is necessary to learn history. If I don't know history, I wouldn't know where I came from, who's my ancestor, and what is my root. I will feel confused and be interrupted in a society overwhelmed with Western cultures. Moreover, history repeats itself, so I can learn from the past and avoid making the same mistakes over and over. However, I still hate learning history because the history class is just boring. My history teacher had outdated fashion styles and monotonous voice tones, so it's just like a lullaby when I take his lecture. I often doze off at his long involved explanation and I can't help losing my concentration. I eventually get terrible grades,